Hello, mates. Welcome to Budgie Keat Gaming. I'm your host, Finley. It feels great making another one of these videos. I haven't made one since September, where I was talking about October releases. Due to being busy with all the holidays, Halloween in particular, I haven't really had the time to make one until now. Hopefully I can go back to making these videos every month. As far as the list goes, I got some awesome looking games to talk about. As usual with this channel, I'll be talking about a wide range of genres, since I enjoy all different styles of games. Real quick before we get started, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It's a huge help for small channels like mine. Doing so helps this video get pushed more in the algorithm. Do keep in mind, release dates often change, but hopefully that won't be the case this time. All right now, February is starting off with a pretty big hitter, and that game is Dragon Quest VII Reimagined, releasing February 3rd for the PS5, Switch, Series X, PC, and Switch 2 game keycard for $60. A remake of one of the most popular Dragon Quest games in the series, which is saying a lot since the series is very popular. The reimagined version includes improved combat, battle speed adjustments, which will hopefully make the combat move along at a much faster pace. I'm hoping this will make a very long 100 or more hours game a little shorter.
It all began with a spark of curiosity, guided by a mysterious tablet.
The next day, we have Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass on the 4th, releasing for the PS5, Switch, and Series X for $20, but it has been on Steam for nearly 8 years now and is priced at $15. Based on the reviews I'm reading for this game, it sounds very much like an Earthbound clone, which is honestly a huge plus for me since I absolutely love games inspired by Earthbound, such as Undertale and Athenian Rhapsody. Being an Earthbound-style RPG, you can expect tons of quirk, charm, and sweet moments to pull at your heartstrings. I should also mention that this game is sitting at an 86 Metacritic for the Steam version. On the 5th, we have Lovish, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and Switch. Oddly enough, it is listed as $15 on the Switch, $20 on the Xbox, and no price listed for the PS5. I have no clue why there is such a drastic price difference across platforms. Anyway, I'm intrigued by this game because a lot of it reminds me of Mario vs. Donkey Kong gameplay style, but it almost sounds like the cutscenes in this game are randomized. The exact quote from the game is, "Wacky randomized event scenes between levels with hundreds of outcomes. You never know what you're going to see next." I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it has my interest. Also on the 5th, we have Magic Runestone releasing for the Switch at $9.90. This game has already been on Steam for nearly a year now. There are no Metacritic reviews, but it has great reviews on Steam. This game looks like a massive Vampire Survivor ripoff with prettier graphics. But you know what? Vampire Survivors is one of my favorite roguelite games ever made. So if this game can capture half the magic of Vampire Survivors, then I'll be playing quite a bit of this game. On the 6th, we have Nioh 3 releasing for the PS5 and PC for $70. If you're like me, and you're unsure if you even want to deal with this game because of its brutal difficulty, there is a demo available to try out, which is what I plan on doing. It is a series I always wanted to try because it looks awesome, but I remember not enjoying my experience with the 3D Ninja Gaiden series, so I'm a bit hesitant on giving a game like this a shot. Three days after Nioh 3, we have the quirky horror game Monterey Jack, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and PC. No price is listed at the time of recording. You're basically stuck in an abandoned cheese factory with a 7-foot-tall monster hunting you down as you search for your missing friend. It definitely looks like it is taking inspiration from Five Nights at Freddy's with a more playful and almost kid-friendly twist on the horror genre, which is always a great gateway into the horror genre. Or for anyone who just enjoys a spooky game without having to worry about being absolutely terrified. If you thought Monterey Jack was quirky, You haven't seen anything yet. On the 11th, we have Romeo is a Dead Man, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and PC for $50, which is a very enticing price point. The thing I love about the developer, Grasshopper Manufacture, is the fact that whenever they release a trailer for a new game, I can never really tell what the hell the game is about. I know it is a violent third-person action game, but that's about all I can tell you. And honestly, that's a big part of the intrigue. It looks beautiful, fun, and weird, and I'm absolutely here for it. On the same day, we have the massive franchise that I still have somehow managed to not play, and that is Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties, releasing for PS5, Series X, PC, and a shitty game keycard on the Switch 2 for $60. Basically, it is a remake of Yakuza 3, so if you ever played that title, be warned that this isn't a new game. Another thing you should be warned about is the original game will be delisted on all platforms and replaced with this version. If you enjoy the original version of Yakuza 3, the only way to purchase it would be through physical means. So for everyone who always thinks physical collectors over-exaggerate the possibilities of losing access to digital games, well, here is a prime example as to why physical owners feel this way. And if I haven't already shitted on this release enough, there is a demo for this game, but your progress doesn't carry over to the full game. Yeah, this one is a mess, and I'll be buying it used if I ever get around to getting it. On the 12th, we have a ton of games coming out on this day, and it is honestly the best-looking day of the month. First up, we have Chromagun 2, Die Hard, releasing on PS5, Series X, PC, and Switch 2 for $50. Surprisingly, it looks like this game will fully be on cart for the Switch 2, so huge shout-out to the dev team. This game basically looks like they wanted to take elements of Portal and elements of Splatoon and smash them together. And you know what? I'm not mad about it. While I'm not the biggest fan of puzzle games, they tend to get on my nerves after a while, but this one looks cool and unique enough for me to want to give it a shot. On the same day, we have Disciples Domination, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and PC for $50. While this turn-based grid RPG game looks cool, I'm not going to lie, it looks an awful lot like another game coming out just 5 days later, named Norse. I have a feeling a lot of people are going to get the two games confused, but between the two, this one seems to be more of a dark fantasy setting with a strong focus on combat and mature storytelling. If this is your type of game, definitely look into Norse, which I'll be talking about shortly.
Your death. The Liberator reigns.
Also on the 12th, we have BlazBlue Entropy Effect X, releasing for the PS5, Switch, and Series X for $25. I was actually going to leave this game off the list because I thought it was a fighting game, like most, if not all, BlazBlue games are. In case you didn't know, I don't really cover fighting games on this channel since I'm not a fan of them. Anyway, this here is actually a 2D roguelike game. The thing that has me most intrigued by this game is the combat in this game is very similar to a fighting game, but you're not trapped in a confined environment. Here, you're actually able to explore a 2D world. Also on the 12th is probably one of my most anticipated games of the year, and that is Mario Tennis Fever, releasing for the Switch 2 for $70. I've actually never played a Mario Tennis game before, so I can't really make any comparisons to other entries. But I will say this game looks like they might have learnt their lesson from Mario Kart World, because this game looks packed with content. 38 playable characters, 30 different Fever rackets, online mode with ranked mode and casual customizable mode, story mode, adventure mode, motion controls, local wireless gameplay with game share. If the gameplay is fun, I can see this being a game where you can spend dozens of hours playing.
Your opponent's using the Mini Mushroom Racket. or duplicate yourself with the Shadow Racket. There are 30 fever...
And for the final game for the 12th is another game I'm super excited about, and that is Lil Gator Game, Gator of the Year Edition, coming out for the Switch and Series X, with a March 31st date for the PS5, for some odd reason. This is essentially the Lil Gator game you all know and love, but with the In the Dark DLC. If you don't know about Lil Gator Game, it is a highly rated indie game that I often see labeled as a cozy and chill Zelda. If you're familiar with Lil Gator Game, then you'll be happy to know this is getting a physical release, which is going to feel like a stroke of luck for collectors since this game currently runs for over $100 on eBay.
But she's actually pretty friendly, as long as you don't interrupt her nap. Amelia roosts in the drafty...
On the following day, we have Reanimal releasing on Friday the 13th for PS5, Series X, PC, and Switch 2-game keycard at $40. Did you enjoy Little Nightmares 1 and 2? If so, you'll probably want to check out Reanimal, not only because it looks so much like the first two Little Nightmare games, but because it is literally made by the studio who made those two games. So if you didn't like Little Nightmares 3, don't hold it against this game, as that was by a different developer. I'm just hoping they make this game more creepy and disturbing than Little Nightmares, because if they don't, then I don't really see why they made this instead of Little Nightmares 3. It is rated M, so I'm guessing, and hoping it'll be more of a disturbing experience.
I thought you were dead.
Also, on the 13th, we have Rune Factory, Guardians of Azuma releasing for the PS5 and Series X for $60, and is already released for PC and fully on cart for the Switch 2. I actually bought this game for the Switch 2 pretty close to release and haven't even played it yet, which kind of sucks since I'd prefer it for the PS5. Anyway, this is a highly rated action RPG that has town building, dating, farming, different seasons, and tons of RPG action goodness. The Switch 2 version does have mouse support if that might be something you're interested in, but the PS5 version will obviously look a lot better. The other negative is if you're wanting a physical PS5 version, it is exclusive to Amazon, which is bullshit. The last time they tried this was with the Luna Collection, and luckily, that was eventually carried by other retailers, so hopefully the same will happen with this game.
All right, we'll do this together.
Azuma's gods must perish.
The last game coming out on the 13th is High on Life 2, releasing for the PS5, Series X, PC, and Switch 2-game keycard. Gameplay-wise, this basically looks like it picks up exactly where the last one left off, just with the added addition of skateboarding added to the gameplay mix. I played the first one, and honestly, I had very mixed feelings about the game. The gameplay was okay. The story was very forgettable since I couldn't even tell you what it was about, and the humor was either extremely hilarious or extremely annoying, and there wasn't much middle ground in that regard. I remember playing the first game on Game Pass, and I remember thinking that I was glad I didn't buy it. I did finish the game though, so I didn't absolutely hate it. That said, this game is going to have to fix a lot of issues to make me want to play it, and I have strong doubts much will change for this new release. But here's hoping it turns out alright, because I'll be willing to give it a shot if they can at least fix the annoying characters. On February 17th, we have Norse, Oath of Blood coming to the PS5 and PC for $35. This is the game I mentioned when talking about Disciples, Domination earlier. Basically, this looks like a Viking version of Fire Emblem. In this turn-based tactical game, you have to rebuild your settlement, recruit members for your army, and set out to avenge your murdered father. But this game isn't all about the fighting. Here, you'll be building new buildings to expand your settlement, upgrading said buildings to recruit and unlock new units, and upgrade your workshops and armory to gain access to new equipment.
Una, I want to talk to you. I think you'll like it.
This will fit beautifully.
There's something about you.
Also on the 17th, we have Calamity Angels, Special Delivery, releasing for the PS4, PS5, and Switch for $40. This looks like an intriguing mashup of turn-based RPG mixed with a board game mechanic where you use a roulette spin to determine your next move. Like all board games, the spot you land on determines if you'll be shopping for upgrades, collecting a reward, or entering a boss fight. Keep in mind, this is being developed by Idea Factory, who is usually known for cozy and chill experiences, so don't expect this game to be extremely demanding or complex. I don't view that as a bad thing. Just know what you're getting into in case this looks like something you'll enjoy.
Yo, yo, yo! Is this the team that's looking for recruits? This is the first time I've seen a post, Fairy.
Also on the 17th, we have Aerial Knight's Dropshot releasing for the PS5, Series X, and PC. There isn't a listed price. Honestly, I don't really know much about this game other than it looks fun and batshit crazy. As far as I can tell, the gameplay consists of causing chaos and shooting everything in sight as you're dropped from a plane. Besides that, I really don't know anything. But that honestly makes me all the more intrigued. Lastly, for the 17th, we have Virtual Boy for the Nintendo Switch 2/Nintendo Switch on Nintendo Classics. To access this, you'll need a Nintendo Switch Plus expansion pack membership, along with the cardboard model accessory which cost another $100. It hasn't been clarified if you need the accessory in order to play the Virtual Boy games, but that is something you would think Nintendo would have made clear this close to the release date. There will be 7 games at launch, with more being released later down the road. Release titles include Teleroboxer, Galactic Pinball, Red Alarm, Golf, Virtual Boy Wario Land, 3D Tetris, and The Mansion of Innsmouth. On the 18th, we have Avowed releasing for the PS5 for $50. This game is already on PC and Xbox for the same amount. Not only is this releasing for the PS5 for the first time, but it is coming with an anniversary update, which includes New Game Plus, a photo mode, a brand new weapon type with 2-handed staves, the ability to change character appearance whenever you'd like, new character creation presets, additional godlike presets, custom game difficulty settings, and the addition of 3 new playable races, Dwarf, Aumaua, and Orlan. So even if you already own the game on the Xbox or PC, it might be worth jumping back in if you enjoyed the game.
Sent here to the living lands by an emperor who couldn't bother to come himself.
On the 19th, we have Styx, Blades of Greed, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and for $50. I'll admit, I was a bit shocked by the $50 price point since every game in the series has been released for $20. So, it'll be interesting to see if the price translates to higher quality gameplay and graphics. It does seem as though the story is taking a different route, as Styx is no longer working for others. This time, he has his own crew to help with his thieving mischief. I'm definitely curious to see how this game plays out, as I'm intrigued by what I've seen from it.
Those dirty Inquisition are like cockroaches, always in the wrong place.
Also on the 19th, we have Death Howl, releasing for the PS5 and Switch for $20. It is already on the PC, where it has received some high praise for its beautifully unique art style, complex card game mechanics, and combination of roguelite deck-building gameplay with Souls-like difficulty. Keep in mind, this game is over 20 hours long, which could be extremely long and frustrating for gamers who are not fans of Soul-like games. If you do, however, enjoy the genre, then this might be something worth checking out this month.
You reach for secrets your father never taught you.
Also on the 19th, we have something I'm very excited about, and that is Skate Bums, releasing for the Nintendo Switch for $15. I won't really talk about most sports games on this channel since I don't really like them, but the exception to that rule is extreme sports, because holy hell do I enjoy those types of games. With that said, it's pretty clear I enjoy skateboarding games, but this one takes it to a new level, because this is looking very much like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 from the Game Boy Color. If this game can be even half as good as Tony Hawk 2, I'll be very happy with this title. On the 26th, we have 5 games releasing, which is crazy since one of the games is one of the largest releases of the year. The first game for the 26th is No Sleep for Konami Date from AI The Somnium Files, releasing for the PS5 at $40. This game is already released on the Switch, PC, and Switch 2 game keycard. Not only is it $10 cheaper on the PS5 when compared to the Switch 2, but it's also guaranteed to run and look better, and of course actually be on the disc. As someone who has the rest of the games on the PS4, I'm very excited to see this released for the PS5. This game keeps the quirky and dark mystery elements that the series is known and loved for. If you're unfamiliar with the series but love mysteries, consider checking this title out, or one of the 2 earlier titles from the series.
Did you try using WinkSync?
We can win this.
On the 26th, we have Maid Cafe on Electric Street releasing on the Switch. The price is currently unlisted at the time of recording. This game was released on Steam over a year ago, where it has some amazing reviews. It basically looks like a mashup of games and genres where you run a cafe, serve coffee in a very similar way as Coffee Talk, and use your money to upgrade your cafe to attract more customers, or use the money to treat yourself to a night out around to karaoke, eating out, and strong hints at dating aspects. I always like the idea of gaming mashing genres, but a lot of times it doesn't turn out very well. With positive reviews on Steam, I'm feeling pretty confident this will be an enjoyable game for Switch owners. Also on the 26th, we have Path of Mystery, A Brush with Death, releasing for the Switch at $40. This visual novel has a slightly unique premise when compared to other visual novels. While the game has your usual anime art style seen in most visual novels, the visual style changes to a retro art style whenever you visit the past to look over clues that'll help you solve a murder that happened over 30 years ago. Where each chapter is played out like a TV episode, this visual novel might just be the thing fans are looking for who want a new experience from the genre they love. Also on the 26th, we have Towerborn 1.0, releasing for the PS5, Series X, and PC. As of now, the price is not listed. On this channel, you'll never see me talk about games in early access, because quite frankly, I absolutely hate the idea of playtesting a game that isn't finished and getting burnt out by said game before it even releases. I will, however, talk about a game once it hits full release status, which is what happens to Towerborn on the 26th. This is a side-scrolling action RPG brawler, where you get to customize your playstyle, equipment, and skills for battle. The one major downer for this game is it seems to be only one player, which seems extremely odd for this type of game. Also on the 26th, we have Tokyo Extreme Racer releasing for the PS5 at $50. It has already been available for PC since early last year, but has hit full release status as of September. I've honestly heard mixed things about the game, but I'm not really sure if it was due to the game being in early access, or if the game was still questionable after it fully released. But I'm definitely keeping an eye out for it since it's always nice playing simple racing games that aren't full of filler story and cutscenes. Another bonus is one of my favorite YouTubers, Totally Tubular Jonathan, speaks highly of this game, and he seems to have pretty good taste in games. So that also has me hopeful for Tokyo Extreme Racer. Also coming out on the 26th is the biggest game of the month, possibly the biggest game of the year, depending on the release date of GTA 6 and Wolverine, but it's no other than Resident Evil 9, also known as Resident Evil Requiem. Releasing for the PS5, Series X, PC, and Switch 2 game keycard for $70. Kind of crazy that a game that looks like this is $10 cheaper than Mario Kart World. Anyway, this game looks amazing. I know I already mentioned this in my video about my most anticipated games of 2026, and I'll have the video linked below if you want to hear more of my thoughts on this game, along with 9 other games. But this is a game I really only needed to see 1 or 2 trailers to realize I was sold, and I've been avoiding everything about the game ever since. I do feel like they released too much info about this game, particularly the 2 protagonist situation, and it really makes me wonder how beneficial it is for Capcom to release that much info for a game as massive as Resident Evil 9. I mean, it's a main entry in the Resident Evil series. I feel like it's already guaranteed to sell close to 10 million copies regardless of excessive marketing. Either way, I can't wait to play this game. I just need to decide if I want to buy it right away or save it for spooky season. And last on the list is Tales of Berseria Remastered, releasing for the PS5, Switch, Series X, and PC for $40. I'm going to be totally honest. This is looking like it'll be one of the most pointless remakes ever made. I'm not really seeing any graphical updates when compared to the PS4 version. Everyone can talk all the shit they want about The Last of Us remakes, but there was clearly a huge graphical update, especially for Part 1, on the PS5. But this? It is nice to see it coming to the Series X and Switch, as the original was not. I guess if you don't own it, this would be the version to get, but it's definitely not worth rebuying if you already have it. I also have a hard time recommending this to PS5 owners, as you can buy the original used for $10. But again, pretty cool for Switch and Xbox owners.
But those days we spent together in familial warmth, they're proof that all of us, were truly alive.
And there you have it. Over 30 games that look pretty awesome for February. Hopefully you found something new from this video. If you did, let me know which game it was in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, found it helpful, enjoyable, or just enjoyed the work it took to make this video, then feel free to like and subscribe to show your appreciation. Until next time, take care, mates.